All right, so for 3.2, we are working on multiplying and dividing rational expressions. So when we're working with rational expressions, you want to make sure that the number one thing that you know how to do is factor, because we're going to be dealing with a lot of quadratics and cubics and other binomial expressions that are going to be factorable. So make sure that you remember how to factor, okay? So if you don't remember how to factor real well, make sure to check out some videos that go over factoring quadratics. You know, you can just use that as a keyword search. And there's a bunch of different videos out there that help you to, factor those things. So if, when we get to the second page, and I guess even at the bottom when we're factoring out these things, you need to know how to factor, okay? So we're gonna go through the odds here. With multiplying and dividing, it's pretty easy. You just multiply straight across and then, try and divide out stuff that's in common in the top and the bottom, just to simplify it. So when we multiply these two together, we multiply straight across the top, so it's gonna be 4 times 7 over 3 times 7x. And we notice that there's a 7 in the top and a 7 in the bottom that are multiplying. There's no addition, no subtraction, so we can just cancel those 7s straight up. And then we get 4 in the top and then 3x in the bottom. And there's nothing else that we can simplify, so this is our simplified expression. All right, so that's the first one, number 3. Again, just multiply straight across the top. So we have 6x times 4x to the 5th over 3x to the 3rd times 10x. Now you can start simplifying right now if you want. I'm probably just gonna, multiply my stuff together and simplify it afterwards. That's what I tend to do, and that's what I've kind of grown up working on, with these problems. So that's what I'm gonna do. 6 times 6 gives me 24. X times x to the 5th is x to the 6th power. 3 times 10 is 20. Or, I'm sorry, 3 times 10 is 30. And then x to the 3rd times x is x to the 4th. So now I can start simplifying these things because they're multiplying. There's no addition, no subtraction. So 24 and 30, those are both divisible by 6. So I divide a 6 from the top, I get 4. Divide a 6 from the bottom, I get 5. Okay, so right now my fraction looks like this. 4 in the top, 5 in the bottom. Now let's check out the x values. So x to the 6th is x times x times x times x times x times x. So 6 x's multiplying together. X to the 4th is x times x times x times x. So how many total x's can we cancel in the top and the bottom? Well, we can cancel out 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and we're left with 2 in the top. So that means that all said and done, we're going to be left with x squared in the numerator in the top. And that's it. That's our finished simplified expression, 4x squared over 5. Number 5, so now we have factors with all this addition and subtraction, so just make sure that you put parentheses around everything that's adding or subtracting, because those are separate factors. But other than that, it's really easy to finish this off, because what happens is that when it multiplies, it just becomes one big fraction, and we can start simplifying by canceling things out. So notice that we have a m plus 6 in the top and the bottom. Those both get canceled out. We have an m minus 1 in the top and the bottom. Those both get canceled out. So all we're left with is an m minus 10 in the top and then a 5 in the bottom. And that's your simplified expression. So that's what happens when things are all factored out. You can just cancel out the factors that are in common. For the next, I think like number 9 and some of the other ones, we're going to have to factor to get to this point to cancel things out. So, enjoy what we're going to see in number 5 and number 7, because 9 and 11 are going to be a little bit more of a challenge because we have to factor first. All right, so number 7, once again, since it's multiplying, it all just becomes one big old fraction. And then wherever there's addition or subtraction as a factor, just remember to put parentheses around there to make it easy. So let's see what cancels out. So we have an n plus 10 that cancels out, an n plus 1 that cancels out in the top and the bottom, and another n plus 1 that cancels out in the top and the bottom. So all you're left with is just 6n squared all by itself. So that's your simplified expression. Number 9, we have to factor. So we have two things that are multiplying, two fractions. So that means that we have a bunch of separate quadratics that we're going to need to factor. So you need to factor each and every one of these to get to these little factors that you can cancel out. So the first one, I need to find numbers that multiply together to be 9 and add together to be 10. So that's going to be 1 and 10. So this top part up here factors to become n plus 1, n plus 10. N plus 9. Jeez. Little error there. There we go. N plus 9. Now, for this one, we need to find numbers that multiply together to be negative 8, add together to be negative 7. So that's going to be negative 8 and positive 1. So we have n minus 8, n plus 1. So that's all the top quadratics factored out. Now let's do the bottom ones. N squared minus 81, so this is a difference of squares. So this just simply becomes n, and then the square root of 81 is 9, so n plus 9 and n minus 9. And then for this last one, we need to find numbers that multiply together to be 1 and add together to be 2, so that's 1 and 1. So we have n plus 1 and also n plus 1. All right, let's try and factor stuff out as much as we can. N plus 1s cancel out, other n plus 1s cancel out, n plus 9s cancel out, so we're left with n minus 8 over n minus 9. And this is the simplified expression. So there we go. That's the first page of 3.2. That's where I'm going to stop. And now let's do the second page of 3.2, the odds.